Good morning everyone, welcome to Whiteboard English, and today I'll be explaining past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense is used to describe an action or a situation that has started in the past and also ended in another point in the past. It is not continuing into the present. It is an action that has a start and an end, and it is starting and ending in the past. It started in the past, it continued in the past, it ended in the past. So now let's take a look at how to make positive sentences in past perfect continuous tense. The format is subject plus had plus been plus verb in the first form plus ing plus object. So now you can see here it is just had. So we cannot switch it between had, have, has, or anything. It has to be had no matter which subject it is, no matter if it is in singular or plural. And you can see here, since it is a continuous tense, we have to add ing for it to be in continuing form, and because it is ing, the verb has to be in the first form for us to add ing to a verb. Now it is just as easy as that. Now let's look at some examples in positive form. I had been studying all night, you had been working all morning, we had been teaching all week, they had been playing soccer, he had been eating cookies, she had been baking cookies, it had been throwing crumbs, Stacy had been dancing all night. So now you can see here, let's look at the first one. I had been studying all night. It is an action, it has an end, it continued for some time. It has a start, it continued for some time, it has an end. And this action, it is in the past. It does not go over to the present. It's in the past, it started in the past, and it continued for some time, it ended in the past. That is what all of these actions are talking about. So you can see here, I had been studying all night. Last night, I had been studying. So last night, I had been studying. Now it is morning, I am no longer studying. So it is talking about an action that happened all night in the past. It is no longer continuing into the present. It happened in the past. It started in the past. I started studying. I studied for some time. It also ended in the past. I stopped studying. So now we can see here these are all positive sentences. Let's go ahead and see how we can make them into negative ones. So now you can see here I changed all the examples into negative examples, and you can see here the format is subject plus had plus not plus been plus a verb in the first form plus ing plus object. Now what's different from the positive one is in between had and been, we have now added not being the negative word for it to become a negative sentence. And the examples that are written below have now changed to I had not been studying all night, you had not been working all morning, we had not been teaching all week, they had not been playing soccer, he had not been eating cookies, she had not been baking cookies, it had not been throwing crumbs, Stacy had been dancing all night. Now you can see here, instead of saying that I had been studying all night, which is in the past I had been studying. It is an action that started in the past, continued, ended in the past. Now it's saying that action has not happened. In the past, I had not been studying. And in the past, you had not been working all morning. So all morning, you had not been working. Now, instead of saying in the past, this certain action had been happening, it ended in the past, started in the past, continued in the past, ended in the past, that action has no longer happened. That is what happens when we change a positive sentence into a negative sentence. Now let's take a look at interrogative sentences. So now you can see here for interrogative sentences, the format is had plus subject plus been plus verb in the first form plus ing plus object plus question mark. Now you can see here that following this format, we have also changed these sentences. It is now, had I been studying all night? Had you been working all morning? Have we been teaching all week? Had they been playing soccer? Had he been eating cookies? Had she been baking cookies? Had it been throwing crumbs? Had Stacy been dancing all night? Now you can see here, just as following the format, it is had, subject, been, verb in the first form plus ing, object, and question mark, which is the most important one for it to be a question. And also you can see here, compared to this one, it is now had has been changed to the first front, and the subject has been changed into the middle of had and been. Just like the not came in the middle of had and been, subject has now come in the middle of had and been. So just keep that in mind the next time you write a interrogative sentence for past perfect continuous tense. You can see here now it is asking about this action. It is asking this action that happened in the past, was it happening? Let's take a look at this example for one. Had you been working all morning? Had you been working all morning? All morning, this action that happened in the past, you were working. This action, had that happened, it's asking whether or not that action had happened. With all of these, it is asking whether or not that action has happened at that time. So that is all for interrogative sentences. Now let's take a look at another form of interrogative sentence. Now you can see here with the interrogative format, I have added WH, that is WH questions such as what, why, when, where, and how. So you can see here, these are used for specifying a interrogative question even more. It is not typically taught in 10th grade, at least from what I know, because I am in 10th grade. And if it is not being taught, do not study that for the exam. Study this if you want to learn English a little bit more detailed. But if it is being taught for your exams, so study that really well. If not, don't give it too much attention, because that will affect your exams, because if you're being only taught this, you're only supposed to use this. So keep that in mind. And also let's take a look at the format. It is WH questions plus the regular interrogative format. Now we can see here the examples. What had I been studying all night? Instead of had I been studying all night, it's asking what had I been studying all night. First it's asking, had I been studying all night? Has this action been happening all night? And then it is saying what had I been studying all night? So it's saying, yeah, I had been studying all night, but what had I been studying all night? It's specifying the question a little bit more. Now you can see that with all the other ones, it's doing the exact same thing. So if you want to expand your English a little bit more, be more specific with what you're saying or asking, these are a good way to do that. So that is all for past perfect continuous tense. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!